What is up, everybody? Welcome into the Phightins final. We all knew it would be tough sledding to get 2-0 in Houston, as it was tonight. We did not see the best of Zack Wheeler. So, of course, and the offense was kind of cold for the most part. So, we are 1-1, split the series in Houston, and we're bringing it back home to Philly for a little Halloween night. Hopefully, it'll be a little more treat than trick for us this coming Monday for game 3. But I'm joined by Joey Marks, the Patterson Ave Fanatics. Joey, what's going on, brother?
What is happening now?
Double duty for you, brother. Last night's game, this
Yeah.
morning you had Patterson Ave Fanatics, and again
Yep.
tonight you join me right here about midnight. We're turning for
Yep.
Saturday into Sunday here. Like I said, the final score of 5-2 in the favor of the Houston Astros. Um, and we didn't see the Zack Wheeler that we expected to see. We
Mm.
expected to see 5 innings pitched, six hits let off, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Definitely didn't have the command of his fastball tonight, and that's always his um, go-to pitches. But Joey, tell me about what you got just from the Zack Wheeler standpoint so far.
Yeah, he didn't have his fastball today, and he definitely got jumped all over early. And I was kind of surprised after Altuve jumped all over him on the first pitch that he would throw the exact same kind of pitch to the next batter. Just because I felt like, after last night, Houston was not going to get embarrassed again. And yeah, there were moments where Houston's fans held their breath, especially when the Kyle Schwarber foul ball almost was a home run. But yeah, Wheeler didn't have his stuff, and it's interesting because between him and Nola giving up 10 runs, and those are your big horses in that starting rotation. Um, there is a little bit of a you know urgency of concern, especially Wheeler's going to get a redemption start, and so will Nola. But what would that look like? That's going to be the real question going forward.
You're absolutely right. There has to be a little concern there. Your two aces, your two lockdown guys, the guys who have, for the most part, kept us rolling along in the postseason, have not been the best of the best that we know they can be. Going to the comments here, Zach Wheeler did not have command of his pitches all game. Definitely, especially the fastball, which is his bread and butter. Syndergaard goes to start game 3, and Suarez game 4. We were going to touch on that, so I'll let Chris break the news if you haven't heard already. So we know it's Syndergaard, or Thor as we all lovingly call him, on Halloween night, and then Tuesday night you will see Ranger out of the bullpen this time, and in the starting rotation again. Um,
So I think Syndergaard should come to the stadium dressed as Thor. I just honestly do. I don't even care if it looks corny or whatnot. Like just let him pick up a hammer and go.
it's not like it'd be a stretch of the imagination. I mean,
No.
he wouldn't really have to go crazy with it. But but no, ultimately, listen. It wasn't just Wheeler. I mean, the offense was pretty cold tonight. They were like 3 for 16 with runners in scoring position because we were hitting them. We were hitting Valdez pretty well, um, but it just wasn't back-to-back hits enough to score some runs. But let's talk about Framber Valdez, six and a third innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 9 strikeouts.
Mhm.
That is the difference right there. He kept us on our heels. There was a little possibility. We got a little robbed for a home run. We all cheered and called and went crazy with Kyle Schwarber, what we thought was his next home run in the postseason. Turns out, after reviewing it, it was a foul ball. To be followed up by the next pitch that was almost a home run, almost a JT Realmuto style home run, almost the same place, just a couple levels low, where it was enough for Tucker to reach up and grab the ball and get another out. We had some close calls, chances to be back in the game. Unfortunately, we were not able to capitalize on any of that.
No,
Um,
no, and the idea with the Schwarber swing, that was an angry swing That was like, you screwed me. All right, I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send it over the fence, and he missed it by feet. Um, the with Valdez 9 Ks, but I think he had about 4 or 5 double plays. And so like that's really the storyline of the game is the amount of like in consistent passing the baton. I mean, if you have that many double plays, that is 10 like 8 to 10 outs there out of your 27.
Um, Walter's saying the objection, or I guess the objective is to get a split. They did it.
Yeah.
Go Phightins. Yeah, I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
anybody here is going to be complaining. It would have been just, icing on the cake to take
Mhm.
two in Houston and bring it back home, giving you a very good chance for a five games, a 5-win World Series. But it is what it is. This is the objective. Bring it home. Let them deal with the Philly fans. Let them get a taste of South Philly, the one that they're not going to like. But I want to bring something up here, and I usually don't get into this stuff, and maybe it's more because of the Houston Astros history.
Mm,
But there's a couple things that happened over the last 24 hours that
mm.
kind of
I think I
irked.
know where you're going with this, but go ahead.
Well, there's two things. One is Martin Maldonado, who is
Mm,
the catcher for the
mhm,
Houston Astros. It wasn't. He's their ninth hole hitter usually, or eighth or ninth hole. So
mhm.
he's not wowing anybody. But apparently he got a bat from Albert Pujols, but the MLB deemed it illegal, and because it was Pujols' bat, he was grandfathered in since he's been using it since 2010. But he was not allowed, so they said he was using the illegal bat in Game One, and they said he had to stop using it. I mean, I know you can't take it back, and we won that game, but come on, man! Seriously, after all that's going on with the Astros, all the cheating scandals, all that stuff, like this is it. Like you're gonna be using a bat that's deemed illegal by Major League Baseball. I mean,
Let's be clear. Okay, so the barrel for this bat is a little bigger. I
mhm.
think it's like 22 was the thickness of the bat, and they deemed it down to like a 20 or 21 and a half or something like that. So they've lowered it. It's kind of like all these alterations that Major League Baseball has done in the last 5 or 6 years. The corking, uncorking bat, the humidor with the baseball, and all of this stuff. The thing is that um, I agree with you. Like you said you can't use that bat anymore. Like that's the repercussion. That's the consequence. I mean, what would have happened if he would have hit a game-winning home run? That game was tied. He could have had a game-winning home run with that bat. Then what would you have done? I mean, that essentially is a cheating play. And if you are even in the lineup or even have a possibility of costing the opposition a win in a World Series and you get a slap on the wrist, because that's what it was. Let's be quite frank. It was a slap on the wrist. And honestly, I think he should have been suspended for this game. I honestly do.
Well, like
Um,
I said, this is not a guy that's going to throw. I
no,
mean,
I know.
listen, losing a starting catcher is a big deal but he's not a guy who's like JT is to us, who's an offensive powerhouse or anything like. It can be an offensive powerhouse, but I mean, Sean's putting out here the concern is and questions are surrounded by the size of his barrel of his bat, which is over the maximum limit allowed after MLB enacted the rule change during the 2010-2011 offseason. Yes. So that was the one thing. And I usually, I'm watching today's game and it's hard, not to scrutinize everything these guys do, right?
Mhm,
We saw last night where the guy definitely leaned in
mhm,
to into the pitch. And now, so Valdez is a very good pitcher. So there's no doubt in anybody's mind that he's a very good pitcher. My thing with him is his tendencies tonight irked me a little bit. There and you can if you and I thought it was just me, But then I started scrolling through Twitter and Facebook, and I'm just seeing people saying the same thing I'm saying.
Okay.
You see him rubbing his palms of his hands under his glove, changing his cleats, rubbing his hair, changing. Like I know these guys have little ticks that they do and little things they go through and wipe their. I mean, I'd be sweating my ass off. I'd be wiping myself left and right. It's just that there's a lot of little things that they were doing, and like I said, he was switching his gloves, changing his cleats, rubbing his palms, and wiping hair, hands on hair, pants. I wrote all this down. His pants as he leaves the mountain, like he really wiped himself down, especially his hands. Like I understand, like towing yourself off, wiping your forehead, that kind of stuff. But like before he's getting his hands checked, he is vigorously rubbing his hands. Like I don't know. I'm not looking into it. I'm not going to sit here and scrutinize it.
Mm.
We lost. The offense wasn't there. Whatever. It's just it's hard not to. It's hard not to scrutinize these guys. And
You
I
know,
just,
listen, me and you have both watched wrestling, and we both have watched those iconic heels. And anytime like those heels like try to come out and turn face, you always kind of get like a little suspicious, even if they really seem genuine. And look, I get that's fiction and this is reality, but I mean, look, if you're trying to gain every advantage possible to win, I understand it within the rule book. But I mean, the next thing you're going to be trying to wonder, okay, what else are we not like you're picking up details. But I bet you if you went back and rewatched both games, you probably pick up even more details that you may have missed before, and that just leads to more scrutiny. And I'm not in completely look. My father used to say, "Once a thief, always a thief. Once a liar, always a liar. Once a cheat, always a cheat." And so for me, is you already were found guilty of cheating, and my feeling is you already have the scarlet letter on your jersey. Now you have to wear it and own it.
yeah. And like I said, maybe I'm looking into it because of their past. Jonathan Frank Hernandez is saying, stop. If Pujols was playing and hitting a home run, it wouldn't matter. Laugh out loud. Yes and no. I didn't know Pujols was still using a bat that was deemed illegal. I'm not making it a big deal about the Maldonado situation, Jonathan. So I will not stop. But I will tell you this. I'm just saying, like Joey Marks just said, it's the it's the inference here. It's the situation where these guys have been known to cheat. They had in 2017, let's be honest, got a slap on the wrist. No players got they got like a $5 million fine to a MLB baseball team, which is nothing. They could sell that in hot dogs in a week. Um, and maybe lost a. I think they maybe lost a draft pick or two, or I don't know what. However, I don't know how they did it, but it was a slap on the wrist. We all know it, and it was just pushed under the carpet, waiting for it to go away because they couldn't take it away from them. And I get that. It's not Maldonado. It's just the series of issues that keep coming up on them. And like I said, I'm not saying Valdez was cheating. It's just you can't help not to pay attention to these little things. And like I said, if it was just me, I'd be like, all right, I'm overlooking it. But I'm scrolling through social media and I'm seeing others talking about it. So it's not just me. You know
And
what I
see,
mean?
and to validate you even more, Al, I think I heard on the commentary that they had mentioned that this one run is the fewest runs he's ever let up in a postseason game. And so you got to understand, this guy usually gets rocked. His ERA is 3.23. Yes, he's a 20 win pitcher. I get it. 200 innings. I get it.
Mhm.
But there is some validity, even if it's just suspicion. There is some validity within what you say, regardless of it just being, alleged, and there is some validity in it.
Yeah, and it's not like I said, it's not just a validity. It's like, if you're known to do something, if you have if you have a stigmata on you in a
Mhm.
situation, don't be surprised when guys like us kind of look a little deeper. I'm just saying, if I'm the Phillies, if I'm Rob Thompson, I'm going to the officials and I'm saying, listen, for the rest of the series, I need, because when they go up to them, they don't even check their hands anymore. They just kind of like rub their hands or their wrists real quick and kind of like shoo them. Like it's not even like they're not really touching their hands or feeling around. It's just like touch, 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 move on. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
even I mean, I know the refs don't want to worry about it. I get it. They don't want to worry about it. Um, but they I would think, especially with the Astros history, and I would think Major League Baseball would be very much wanting to scrutinize them. I mean, I get to the point where people are putting pictures online of his pants, while like it looks like a yellowy substance, like almost like a grass stain, but like I don't know why he would have a grass stain. He's not sliding. You know what I mean? Like there's
Right.
nothing there that makes you feel like he should have a grass stain in that part of his body, or dirt or anything on him in that part of his body. But my point is, you would think Major League Baseball would scrutinize the crap out of this, because what happened last time, because that's a blemish on them. It's a blemish on them for the cheating going on, and they're not seeing it right away. But my point is, I'm not saying that's why we lost today. I'm not that
No.
fan who's going to blame the loss on that. The Phillies did not bring their A game from offense as well as pitching and defense. There's a couple defensive blunders that cost us that extra run. In it would probably would be a 4-2 game, um, if it was a little different. But it is what it is. The game is on. Like Walter said, you know, this, the whole objective was to move forward at least 1-1,
Hmm.
split the series in Houston, and bring it back home. So I'm not worried about this. I'm not sitting there going, "Oh, the series is over. We're all screwed." That's not where I'm going with it. I just thought it would be something worth talking about on the show.
Right.
But and we mentioned Altuve, and I want to talk about Altuve. Altuve was like 4 hits in the postseason up until tonight. Who had
Hmm.
3 hits tonight?
Hmm.
That is what worries me more than anything.
Yeah. Hey,
If he if he
I'm
gets
with
hot,
you.
if he gets hot, that is not a good thing. It does not
Yeah.
help us at all.
I'm with you because this is a guy who, if correct me if I'm wrong, was the World Series MVP, or he was up there and carried this team through some of their postseason runs. And this is a guy that, he's a spark plug. And believe me, I told you the batting average going into last night was 0.87 for Altuve leading off. And I'm like, that's crazy that Schwarber is a better average hitter from the leadoff spot than Altuve, because on paper I would have put Altuve as a better leadoff batter, period.
Yeah,
And
well,
I mean, but you look at the stats, and like I said, sometimes facts just outweigh what it is. But Altuve going off tonight, I'm with you, and that worries me going forward. Like, please don't bring that bat with him. Like,
yeah.
lose
Hopefully
that.
not. Hopefully the day off for travel gives him a chance to come back down, and it was just one freak night, and we can deal with it. But that is something to keep an eye on, because um, if like I said, if he gets hot and he goes hot, this will be very different, um, a
Oh,
very different series.
him and Bregman. I mean, remember Bregman had a good home run tonight. So
Yeah.
if Bregman goes off too, that's problems on both fronts, because that makes that meat of that lineup. Oof, it makes it scary and dangerous going into the bank.
No, absolutely. Now, like I said, game 3 will be Thor. Game 4 will be Ranger. Let's talk about that moment where it looked like the Phillies were going to possibly have a little late inning magic, or late game magic. Well, Kyle Schwarber apparently hit a what we all thought to be a home run until they reviewed it and found out it wasn't. It's just us and there's about 10 guys who were sitting right by the foul pole, and said it was on the wrong side, and they reviewed it and it was wrong, and it is what it is. Followed up by another hit that almost skied one right out to and become the home run, which would have been poetic justice. They called it back, and here he goes and launches another one, which would have brought the game within one run. Um, to me, that's, I think, a big momentum shift for us. I mean, I think it's huge. I think it's the fact that they once again shows this team, which we've all said, and it's kind of becoming cliche at this point, that they have this dog in the fight, always fighting, never seem to give up, never at any point in this game when you see your starting pitcher not doing well and your defense isn't doing great, you're not getting on. These guys could have just dialed it in and just been like,
Yeah, well,
let's bring it back to South Philly. We won yesterday. We're good. We're good. They didn't think like that. They were always trying to get the win. They didn't stop even in the ninth inning. Things looked they looked a little better, and I think that's a great momentum for moving forward. What do you think, Joey Marks?
no, see, I kind of go to what Larry Bowa said it best is that this Philadelphia Phillies team, you're gonna have to get 27 outs. Like that's not they're not gonna give you outs. Like they're not gonna just lay a bump down and give you a free out. No, they're gonna work you, and they're going to grind out at bats and they've proven that since Top has taken over. And you see that it always gives you that hope. I mean, today we went down 5-0, and instead of earlier, we went down got to 5-0 by the fourth inning, and I'm like, here we go again. And I'm like, the last time this happened was last night, but the last time it happened before that was 20 years ago. Are you trying to tell me we're gonna do it 2 nights in a row? I mean, come on, that's a little ridiculous. But they kept fighting. I mean, I like I said, the double plays just mean that the Phillies are putting bat on ball, which, as John Kruk always says, as long as you put bat on ball and put the ball in play, you always have a chance.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with that. And I
Well, we
mean,
saw that tonight again. I mean, they were,
yeah,
that's how they got that run. Put the guys on the corners. It was kind of an error by their first baseman, and that the thing is they do the one thing that this team didn't do is they didn't make people pay for their mistakes a lot
yeah,
during the regular season, and it's like a total 180 in the postseason where the defense has been pretty stellar outside of a couple moments throughout the postseason. I was, I say stellar, but spot on. I mean, Nicky back to those two diving catches that kept the game in where it was. That could have been the difference between us losing last night and winning last night, and shows you how important that play is even more now after how Zack Wheeler went.
yeah.
So I mean that play between that and the JT home run last night really shows the importance of that. Real quick, I want to thank our sponsors. Let's start with Cherry Injury Law, or the Cherry Injury Firm, cherryinjurylaw.com. David R. Cherry is your man. Workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, criminal law, 610-565-0300. The number again is 610-565-0300.
You think
Don't
he's
forget,
got a private investigator? Because
yeah, we
maybe we
might.
might need one.
Yeah, we might need one, that's for sure. PhillySportsTrips.com. Check them out. There's a bunch of trips coming up. All these away trips. A great Christmas present might be a trip to Dallas for the Eagles to take on the Cowboys late in the season on December 24th. They have that trip ready for you. Don't forget for the home games, which you'll have the Gatehouse at the Navy Yard, which tomorrow there will be one. There's probably still time if you want to, instead of worrying about a place to park and bringing food and lugging beer down and whatever it else, go sign up there, get yourself all that, plus the entertainment, plus the good time and hanging out with other Eagles fans. Go to PhillySportsTrips.com. A lot of other trips to choose as well. And Dolan's Bar. So, as we said last night, they had Tommy Green. Tonight, Lenny Dykstra was there at Dolan's Bar. And if Game 6 brings it back to Houston, Mickey Morandini will be in the house. So, what a great time to watch a World Series baseball with the Phillies in it, with former '93 World Series greats Tommy Green, Lenny Dykstra, and Mickey Morandini. Um, so, guys, don't forget. I want to remind you tomorrow we have Devereaux Sports P&M in the AM with Pat and Mike. The Eagles pre half and post game shows for the Steelers game, as well as All Across Live at 9 p.m. So you get a little Phillies break, you get a little travel day in your brain, but you still have something to fill it in with some Eagles break. Because, like, who would have thought 6-0 Eagles would have just not been the talk of the town, except for the Phillies making the World Series for the first time in 13 years. So, you know, yeah, I mean 11 years, right? Yeah, 11 years. I'm doing the math wrong in my head. No, 13. I was right. It's 2022.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
that's the only way that will happen. But uh, there will be, and don't forget, they'll have a Thursday night game. So that means next week's schedule will be altered a little bit. We will have that out tomorrow. Once we find out and lock everything down with everybody. But next week's schedule will be out, and there's a Thursday night game, which we'll still have a halftime and a post game show. Don't get me wrong, but there'll be plenty going on, and don't forget all the other great shows here on the network. Joey Marks, thanks for all the great work you've done over the last 24 hours. Guys, if you missed the Patterson Hat Fanatics today, you can go on all wherever you get your podcast, type in Edge of Philly Sports or Patterson Hat Fanatics, and get yourself that podcast from today. Go back to our YouTube channel, Facebook, wherever you want to watch it. There's a video so you can see all their pretty faces as well. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. You're on Facebook, hit that like button. Twitter, follow, whatever it is, share, do what you can do to help EOP and the Painted Lines do what we do best, and that's talk Philly sports with you. I'm Big Al,
I'm Joe Marks.
and we out of here.
Late.